And I started my first company, Mr. JK Public Relations, shortly after school. I landed a corporate job at one of the most prestigious engineering firms, working with the most brilliant people.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Make It Count show. I'm your host, Michelle Latocha, and today I have a special guest who I've known since high school, Melanie Wong. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
This is awesome. It's like nostalgia.
Totally is.
The goal for me in all of my interviews, I think going forward, is having like blast from the past. I hand select high schoolers that I went to school with. But like, looking at you now, like you have not aged.
Oh, that's good. Good to know.
No, honestly. So it's been so nice to get to see you again.
Yes.
How have things been?
Things have been great.
Yeah.
Well, if we're taking it back to, say, high school days and where I've been and what I've done, it's like such an interesting journey. Like I never really knew what I wanted to do. And one of the
Who knows what they want to do? Like, I feel like that should be not a question anymore.
It really isn't. And I think it'll change like all the time, especially for the generations to come. For those that knew me, like in high school, I had so many jobs. I literally worked in every sector that you possibly could imagine. And I think when I reflect back, it was probably a great thing because I got to try a bunch of different things and know exactly what I didn't like to do and what I did like to do.
Smart.
Yeah. I don't know if I realized it at the time, but it was easier for me to navigate, I guess, through my adult choices of where I want to be and all those great things. And I traveled quite a bit. And then I went back to school later and like 28 and did my postgraduate in public relations and corporate communications.
Do you feel like, I feel like that's the key. Like going back to school, I always say to my sons, I have 3 kids, but I'm always like, hey, if I go back to school now, like I'd be like an A student. Like I'd be awesome. Like I would be so focused and knowing what I want to do because I get caught in that trap of saying to my son, like, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? And I'm like, ooh, Michelle, don't say that. Like, what interests you? Like I keep asking him what interests you because, although he's in grade 9, but I feel like when we were in high school, like that was the thing. It's like, what are you going to do for the rest of your life? That like scared me, that question. I'm like, everything?
Right, exactly. And I think too, what's really important is for them to have a lot of practical experience in life, right? So if they're just going to school, how can you decide based on what a subject? And there's so much more that this world has to offer that I don't even think it's a fair question to ask. Maybe they could start working and trying all different kinds of things and put them in environments that would hone in on their expertise and natural interests. And so for me, I traveled quite a bit because I didn't know what I wanted to do. But at the same time, I was so lucky because I got to see all different kinds of parts of the world and cultures and get to really experience that. And I started my first company, Mr. JK Public Relations, shortly after school. I landed a corporate job at one of the most prestigious engineering firms, working with the most brilliant people. And cubicle life was not for me. I felt like a cat in a kennel and I needed to get out, but I didn't have anything lined up. So I volunteered. So I went from a corporate job that paid so well. They treated you incredibly at this engineering firm. And I volunteered at a PR company just to get the experience in a boutique firm. And I loved what I was doing. And I was given the Hamilton Tiger Cats account with Ryan Hines. And I love sports. Yeah. And so it was so great. It was so much fun. There was so much creative control and you could do so much. There wasn't so much bureaucracy and red tape. And so I knew kind of being in that boutique life was definitely for me. And I got so many great opportunities to work with different NHL players, CFL players. I worked with a sports agent alongside.
So amazing.
Yeah, it was incredible. And I got to work on a Snoop Dogg account as well. Yeah,
Stop.
so fun. But that was also my lesson of like how hard you can work with like zero return. And I knew that I wanted to get out of the service industry and I wanted to sell a product. And I've loved sales and working on a business, so building. I think that I truly enjoy putting problems out every day as there's something going on. And it's just being creative and navigating how to utilize your skills, your expertise to catapult to the next level.
So is this where Olive and Splash kind of manifested?
Yeah. Olive and Splash was born on a cold night at a Toronto Maple Leaf game. There was, for myself, my first nephew was born, and I was looking for really cool, unique adult style athleisure for him that was also sustainable, and there was nothing in the market. So I started playing with textiles, and we created this athleisure suit, pretty much exactly what I'm wearing, just a hoodie, but gold zip on the side, down the ankles, very minimalist, and it was all made from bamboo in Canada. It hit all those points for me. I started selling it, going to market, and then there was a request, can I make it in adult size? And so I made a whole line in the adult clothing, from t-shirts, tights, hoodies, joggers, and that took off. And now we're predominantly an adult line.
That's amazing. Like you've really kind of like transformed into like, you know, building something out of like, you're just like a solution. Like there was a problem. I always hear that all the time. You read these books and they're like about, you know, business and all these things that can help you succeed and grow. And it's like, what problem are you fixing? And sustainability is a massive thing right now. And you kind of like hit it before the trend.
Absolutely. It's always been important in my life, and I was raised that way, even just the small things around the house. I can always remember my dad getting mad when, you use too much detergent in the water. And he's like, do you know what happens to that? That goes down the drain, and then it pollutes our water and our fish, and, and then you consume it again. And we just at such a young age. And now I think more than ever, we have a human health crisis from, a magnitude of things, but our cheap products are definitely a contributing factor. So yeah, for me, I love the sustainability. We've navigated and moved into new sustainable textiles, like 100% wool and 100% linen, because they vibrate at a higher frequency than the human body. So it is absolutely healing to wear the clothes. And it's just the education.
You're speaking my language.
Yeah, the education and learning all the different things. And I practice that in everything that I put myself in.
Did you face any challenges running your apparel business?
Absolutely. There's always challenges. When I look back I'm always searching for a mentor and that kind of stuff. There's always somebody ahead of me that has, done it, and they have great advice. And one kind of piece of advice that I always would get is, Melanie, stop manufacturing in Canada and stop using sustainable textiles. Nobody cares. And you're going to take that money and you're going to put that bottom line back into, you're going to take that money and put that back into your bottom line. And that was always, and it does make sense. It really does. But I wouldn't wear my clothes if they were filled with, fossil fuels and polyesters and all the things that are very harmful for human health, because what you put in your skin or on your skin seeps into your bloodstream within 26 seconds, right? And we become a culture that's so consumed with what we're putting in our bodies, but we're not really having that conversation about what's on our skin that's getting absorbed into our body, right? So from your creams to makeups to everything.
But you're right. We talk about that all the time. And now there's a massive education and awareness on that, right? If when my babies were small, they had, skin irritation. So I went chemical free for a long time. But there's not a lot when you buy kids clothes, right? Thinking about, that's a good point. What are you putting on them? Not just the cream, but the clothes.
The clothes.
They're living in that. They're breathing that. Even now, right, with perimenopause and, all these women are coming forward I want to clean my life. But again, the way you put it, there's not a lot about sustainability and the clothes you're wearing and the fabrics that are actually seeping into your skin. Everyone now, the youth, it's okay, I'm going to buy it online. It's going to come tomorrow. It's where is that coming from?
Exactly. It's going to cost me $7. If I don't like it, I'm just going to donate it. Overconsumption. And then not only that, so Helen, going back to, challenges of the business, that was always a challenge, right? Because I felt that I was almost doing my business wrong. I should be overseas. I should mass manufacture. I should just use that cheap polyester. I can still have my sweater look the same. It's not going to feel the same. It's not going to perform the same. Your skin's not going to breathe. It's going to be terrible for the environment and terrible for human health. But you know what? I could make more money. And I always felt that that was a challenge because it went against everything that I believed. but that's how they were doing it, and that's how they were successful, and that's how they were making great money. And it was, but I couldn't do it. And I'm so happy that I stuck to what I believe in, because now I see some of my mentors, like, this is our new made in Canada, sustainable,
for sure.
And
like
line.
you're the mentor now, like
you're the
guru.
And so it's really interesting you need to stick to your gut and just go with what you believe in. Don't ever, steer away from that. And so I think that's one of the biggest lessons that I have learned. But there's challenges all the time, right? With manufacturing and, delays in getting your stuff. And right now it's, for me, like, we need internal help, and it's finding the right people to put in place. And there's always challenges. But
for sure. And you don't shy away from them. Right.
No.
And every time I'm looking at your socials, you're always into something, which I love. This is like true Melanie fashion. You're always into something. And I 100% can relate. Like, I've always said that. I'm like, I want to do everything. I don't want to be put in a box. I want to do everything, because there's so many opportunities. But one of the things that you're doing now is a little passion project called Welcome to My Hustle.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
Yeah. So it started as an International Women's Day kind of celebration, and I was going to shine the light on some of the amazing women that I know that are accomplishing incredible things. And one of my first guests was Renata Fast, who plays for the Toronto PWHL now, which she also plays for Team Canada, and she just won gold medal. And so I had her come by, and I interviewed, just about her daily activities and things like that. And I always find it's really interesting to see, how does someone like a professional athlete like that, how do they eat? How do they work out? And what do they do? What's their regimen like? It's always interesting. So I had a bunch of women come, and we did some interviews. And then I was like, but I also know incredible men that are doing amazing things as well. And it kind of just took on a mind of its own. And my last interview was with Harry Jameson, the husband of one of our longtime friends, Amy, and what he's up to. And he's up to incredible things, and he inspires me all the time, from health and wellness, entrepreneurial.
I could just listen to him speak.
Yeah, he's incredible. He's incredible. And I was so lucky to be able to sit with him at dinner and interview him.
That's amazing. Have you had, he's probably one of your top guests then, I guess. Just interesting.
Interesting, because he's really doing incredible things. And when I say like reach, his international and global reach, his education, but his drive and desire to be great is very inspiring.
They always say to surround yourself with the top 5 people that are better than you, that you aspire to be, because like, I say this all the time, and I say it to my kids, and it was hard in high school, but like, your vibe attracts your tribe. Like, you have to be reading at a different frequency, and the right people will come around you. And when you do, it's like magic, right? You just have that bubble and that boundary, and you're just like loving life. And honestly, being around you right now, like I said, I joked, like, you have not aged, but I think you had that in you from a very young age. To just be so inspiring, such a trendsetter, so on point, that I think that your path is just beginning.
I think so awesome. Too. It's funny you say that. I really feel that this year, energetically, spiritually, I feel like I'm in a better place and on a great path.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see where this takes me.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, we're going to play a little game. Break it
up.
All right. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to give 30 seconds on the clock. I'm going to ask you as many questions as I can.
Okay.
And then you're going to try to answer them.
Okay.
It's kind of a version of a 5-second rule, but we're going to do 30 seconds and as many questions.
Okay.
Because Michelle doesn't listen to any rules. I don't do rules, okay? That's probably why I don't work for someone.
Well, it's hard, right? To put yourself in the box.
I have been in so many jobs as well. Well, not so many, but like, I always realized at an early age, I'm like, I can't report to anybody.
Yes.
I need to report to my own brain, which is 5,000 tabs. Okay. Okay. Name 3 styles of decor.
Of decor? Country chic, like modern, and I don't even know, Victorian.
Awesome. Name 3 yellow foods.
3 yellow foods: corn, squash, and I think some carrots.
Okay. Name 3 brands of deodorant.
Schmitz, and like Dove, and what are the other big brands? Like Speed Stick.
They're toxic.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I don't use any of these chemicals.
Toxic. Okay, we're going another minute. Okay, places to sunbathe.
Your backyard, the beach, the rooftop.
Okay, 3 reasons to give your kid money.
To purchase something, to teach them about the value and the stretch of $1, and to maybe reward them.
Awesome. Okay, and last one, 3 swimming pool toys.
A floating device, weights, and
I don't know what pool you've been at.
no, but you remember when you would
Aquarobics?
throw like things on the bottom and you'd have to dive and get them?
True.
Yeah.
I did aquarobics a long time ago, so that's what I was thinking.
No,
of the
not
weight.
like arm weights, like
And I was
anything
like,
weighted
oh,
that
yeah.
like you throw on the bottom and we'd like dive to the bottom and go and get it.
Totally. I still play that game with my kids because I'm still a kid. Okay, you're good. You can think on the spot. Okay, we're going to move on to something that I've recognized recently that you've done, and I am a huge advocate for, is speaking up about sexual assault.
Yes.
I just got goosebumps because, as some of you know, I am part of Empower Her Niagara, and we had our first year, and we raised funds for Niagara Sexual Assault of a center in Niagara. And when I saw you share your story about your experience and your journey, I was like, man, like it hits home because, you know, you can raise money for charities, and this one was really special to us because it supports women and it releases the stigma. Like, we need to help our community. But when you know someone in your circle or who you raised with that went through something like this, it starts to get close, and you start to realize, okay, like, we need to speak up. So share your story, because I think, again, and we said this a brief, like it's, and I spoke to many people, it's, nobody wants to talk about it.
Right. And
that's like, you know, even when you want to choose a charity, and, you know, nobody wants to raise funds because it's an uncomfortable conversation. And you openly speaking about what you went through, I think gives peace to victims and also makes them feel heard.
For sure. So I can remember like when this first happened to me, and I told my friends and I told my family and I told the women that surrounded me. The amount of women that came forward and said, you know, this happened to me too. This happened to me too. This happened to me too. And I was like, what do you mean? Why didn't you say anything? And it kind of got upset that somebody never spoke up. Like, what? But I was young, that I didn't realize the stigma that was attached to it. And, you know, some of the stories, they're all horrific. But if I stay quiet, then I repeat history. And who do I do justice for? Like, no one, especially the next generation. There were so many things that prompted me to speak up. One, the Law Society is reevaluating if they should have to, you know, make it mandatory whether a lawyer who is under investigation for sexual misconduct needs to disclose that to its clients. Like, I'm not sure what we're kind of humming and hawing over. Like, no, right? So I followed that story closely. And then, so that was a reason. My friends' little girls are getting older, and not to say that this is an age thing. You know, one of the facts about sexual assault is the predator is usually introduced to you by someone you know. So when we think about, you know, maybe what the movie show or whatever of somebody jumping out of the bush and like, that is just such a small percentage. It happens, but it is a small percentage. And
you're groomed.
Yes, it's like, in my case, I was lured, and this person was a professional. I was definitely not the first, and evidently not the last. But because they work in the field of law on both sides of, or had worked on both sides of the law, they know exactly how to manipulate and keep it corrupted. And it's, so you know what? Then let me share my story And if it just sparks a conversation in one family's home, I've done my job.
And since you've come forward, has anyone else or people reached out to you saying, hey, like, this happened to me, thank you?
So many inbox messages, from being stopped at the grocery store to so many places. It's healing for some to, speak, and it's important to. There's nothing to be ashamed about, and it happens to 1 in 3 women. So think of like when you're in a room at a conference, how many of those women have gone through something similar?
Yeah.
And it's important. It's important to talk about it and erase the stigma. And I don't think it's ideal to stay quiet because it just perpetuates it more and more.
It's a cycle.
It's a cycle.
Why don't you think people step up more or come forward?
I think it's because it makes them feel uncomfortable. And I think it's the uncomfortable.
Especially like in your situation, a workplace environment, right? Professional environment, where it feels like, you can correct me if I'm wrong, you're going up against like a bully. It's like a high school situation where it's like, no one's going to believe you. And how could that happen? And you know what I mean?
Right.
It angers me because, like I said, the moment you start talking about this, people are like, oh, no, like, let's not.
Yeah.
It's like, how are we going to help? How are we going to stop this from happening?
Yeah. It's just, you have to keep talking about it until, the ones that it makes it feel uncomfortable, that they're just like, oh, here it is again. Oh, here it is again. I don't know.
And you've gone into a new role of advocacy. Do you feel like that transpired through all of this? I mean, I've seen you at Niagara Sexual Assault Center. So tell us about that.
Yeah. I'm recently on the board of directors to be able to, help and navigate where I can and where my, experience and expertise kind of cross over. And so it's great to be able to put it towards something useful. It wasn't always easy. It wasn't always productive. It wasn't always positive. And now I have a channel that I can positively impact and help others. And it's important to me. And, the girls and boys that come through that the center, like I was once in their shoes on a similar level, and I think that it's important to raise awareness and money for that. And, because they operate based on donations and grants and government support. So, it's really important because I can't imagine. I think there was like a 5-month waiting list. I couldn't imagine being in a crisis and then being in a situation that has left you so distraught and saying, okay, just wait 5 months and then we'll help you. And it's not okay. So it's important that I speak up. It's important that I bring awareness and do everything that I can to help them, either hire on more therapists so that we can adequately serve the community.
What is the biggest thing that you think the center needs right now?
I think that the center could use more therapists, but they need more money to be able to execute that. So funding is always a huge help. And I know that they're looking for volunteers right now to help on Saturdays. I think it's a couple hours a day at the bingo hall. And for those couple of hours, the bingo hall will donate to the center. So it helps them out substantially. And so if you know anyone that wants to volunteer.
So they probably can go to their website and
they can go to the website. Yep. They can definitely inquire.
So you've done so much. Like I could talk to you for hours because honestly, I think like you're one of like the top 5 fascinating people. It's just, you've experienced so much and you still have such a breath of positivity, which is amazing, right? Given what you've gone through. What do you think is next for you?
Oh man. I'm actually working on another business.
Oh,
yeah.
Do tell.
It's been a little challenging, but I'm super passionate about it. And I mean, that's all that I need. It's something that I've been wanting to do. It's something that I incorporated in my life probably a couple years ago. And it ties well with everything that I'm already involved in. So yeah, I'm working on another company. And so I would love to see both of them, be very successful. And yeah, it's just, I would like to put another truck on the road for Olive and Splash on the West Coast. So it's just trying to figure out exactly how we do that and execute that. We did our first pop-up shop in Vancouver on the waterfront this past November. So we were out there for 10 days, and I built a store that was very similar to the truck, put it on a pallet, shipped it out, had it built out, and yeah, did that. And so it was a great experience, and I'd love to work in California and do some pop-ups there. So I started reaching out, and we'll figure it out. But yeah.
5 years. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
See myself in 5 years. I don't know. Still like with Olive and Slash for sure. It's my baby, and I want to see it grow. And yeah, just a couple other businesses. And
I love it. You are the perfect candidate for like a Shark Tank, Dragon's Den Canadian. That's where I see you in 5 years.
Okay, maybe.
Sit in those chairs.
Okay.
And giving advice to young entrepreneurs because, before we go briefly, I've seen that you've been recognized at Mohawk College.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that, your recognition there.
Yes. Well, I was surprisingly nominated and a recipient of the Alumni of Distinction Award, which I was just like, this is incredible. And from that, I was also recognized by the Premier Government, Doug Ford, for the impact that my business has had on the community and the economy, which again was a huge surprise, but so grateful and honored to be recognized. And most recently, the students painted a poster of myself as the innovative woman. And I shared that on Instagram.
I saw that.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
It was a great painting and just like a great night. And this weekend I'll MC their prep rally. And they've done so much to recognize me and support everything that I do. And it's the least that I can do to participate in everything that they do because they've given me so much.
Amazing. I'm so happy that I got to talk to you today.
Thank you.
I hope in the next 5 years, you're just as happy and confident. And you have all the businesses and all the cats and dogs around you.
Yes.
And I hope you have so much peace going forward. So thank you so much. For those that want to catch anything that Mel's up to, make sure to follow her socials. We'll be linking them below. Check out her apparel. Check out her hustle. Welcome to her hustle, her passion project. She's got so much more in store. And she was so courageous about telling her story. And if you have a story to tell and you want to reach out to Mel, we're going to, again, post all of her socials, ways to get ahead of her, a hold of her. And thank you so much for joining us today. And as always, make it better.